You hear it time and again, and perhaps you have also wondered how you can personally influence your reality of tomorrow. Imagine you are surrounded by an invisible, flowing field of energy that is constantly in motion, a field that responds to your thoughts and feelings. What if I told you that this field is the key to changing your reality? And what if I told you that this field is communicating with you more actively than ever? Let's take a look at how this works in practice and how you can use it for yourself. I warmly welcome you to this Love Happy podcast episode. My name is Linda Giese, and I have been a spiritual mentor for over 20 years and the author of Consciousness Next Level. Yes, furthermore, I am the founder of a truly amazing method, namely the Science Potential Method. Being potentials are your strengths. They are your superpower abilities. And being potentials are like a communication key. Yes, between you and this energy field or your desired reality. So if you want to know more about how to discover and activate your being potentials, we regularly host a free live show. If you would like to participate, I have included the link for free registration below this video in the show notes of this podcast. Okay, let's get to the topic. As you may have already noticed, we are currently in a highly intensive energetic phase. And this phase is so significant because the veil between the subtle world, the place where your creative power becomes concrete, and the material world is becoming increasingly permeable, it is getting thinner and thinner. And as a result, it is simply as if our creative power or our influence on our reality is becoming increasingly decisive because this field communicates with us much better. 2001. Thus, the field of consciousness reacts very intensely to you, to your life, to your thoughts, to your feelings, and to your decisions. And it is currently exploring a new direction, or a direction for you, that is very important. And many also speak of the fact that we are currently in a very fateful phase where a new fateful cycle is beginning. And it's just like that. You simply check out life or the field. Where should it go for you in the future? And by the way, this field is not just some esoteric talk, as it is also known in physics. In physics, this field is called the plasma field. And in the natural sciences, it is referred to as an intelligent field of consciousness. It is therefore a gas-like substance that makes up almost 99% of the visible universe. And this is not just a scientific or a natural science or a spiritual concept. 2001. This field actually serves as a kind of interactive bridge between your inner world and the outer reality. It can also be expressed as the connection between mind and matter. You might be asking yourself right now, why should I know this? Why is this important? Yes, the answer is quite simple. Because consciousness, or rather plasma, reacts to energy and vibration, and your thoughts, your feelings, but also your decisions are pure energy, and they resonate at a very specific frequency. And this frequency influences the plasma field as it is already around you and is thus affected by your energy. Just imagine that you live in a sea of energy that constantly responds to your inner impulses and shapes your reality. If you could accept this, how would you then direct your thoughts, your feelings, and your decisions to positively shape your reality? You would most likely focus more on the positive orientation, wouldn't you? It actually makes sense. However, it's not that simple. It's not just about positive thinking. It's about coherence. And it means that it is about the connection of your thoughts with deep, authentic feelings and a way of life in which you embody your truth or your authenticity through and through, then it is coherent, yes, and also your being potentials realized. And this is often underestimated because people think, well, why should that be important? Because when you suppress something about yourself, suppress being potentials, it also has a lower vibration. That's just how it is. So when these mentioned elements are all in harmony, we have a very high vibration. And this plasma then reacts to your high vibration. And then it is shaped and molded, and then the process begins to make your wishes a reality. It's actually quite simple. However, you need more than just fleeting positive thoughts, affirmations, or anything else. If you really want to harness the magic of plasma or the intelligent consciousness field for yourself, then 2001, you need to go deeper. Dive into yourself. What do you really feel? What is your truth? Your thoughts, your feelings, and your potentials must be in harmony. Only then can you begin to consciously influence the plasma field. Let's move on to the second, yet also very, very important building block. There is an aspect that we often overlook. These are the deeper layers of our consciousness. And in these deeper layers, that is, in our unconscious layers, there exist beliefs, old wounds, and repressed ones. Yes, our suppressed potentials exist there, and they act like invisible blockages in your energy field, influencing your vibration. Even if you don't always notice it directly and believe it, no one else notices it either. I believe we all know this. Sometimes we carry wounds from the past with us, along with old injuries, negative beliefs, negative convictions, and a lot of self-criticism within us. All of this is deeply rooted in us, and then we bend ourselves. We suppress our potentials out of fear of rejection, or out of fear of not being good enough, out of fear of embarrassing ourselves, or. These unconscious patterns operate in the background and lower your energetic vibration, that is, your frequency. You probably know the feeling of not being completely centered, not knowing what is going on with you. Diffuse symptoms? Yes, stress, burnout, lack of energy, emotional exhaustion. Yes, these are all expressions of your distorting patterns. Even if you succeed in thinking positive thoughts, consciously thinking positive thoughts, yes, positively affirming, these old patterns will always block you and prevent you from vibrating in the necessary coherence. So, it is of no use to affirm and build positive energy if deep beliefs exist within you. For example, the belief of not being good enough, just to take one example. Yes, and it is simply crucial for you that you not only take care of your conscious thoughts and feelings, but also of the 2001 unconscious ones. So, you need to have the courage to look deeper. What old beliefs are still holding you back? What wounds have not yet healed? It is simply incredibly important to look at this, which potentials are just waiting to finally be lived by you. Yes, in the last live show I spoke with a truly amazing woman on the hot seat, and she has incredible potential, and she really has enormous wishes, and she has that power, but she just completely gets in her own way. And this is related to deep imprints from her childhood, and she is aware of it as well. But she is not aware that she is still caught in this split, in this torn state, as she has known it since her childhood. And we revealed that in the live show, and she said, wow, that's amazing. I hadn't noticed that connection at all. And she simply has to resolve it. This means that it is not helpful to tinker with something in the here and now. Rather, it is very important that we delve into it and really start at the root. So, when did this arise? Where did it originate? Yes, like a source of inflammation that needs to be addressed, rather than just treating the symptoms. Yes, and this is the case for many people. I remember a client I recently worked with, a very well-known speaker, and he had such a strong competition with his colleagues, and he was so negatively oriented, and then it eventually got to the point where his business was just going down the drain. He couldn't explain it at all, and eventually ended up with me. And only when he had the courage to really look, to truly see what was actually hidden, could he confront his old wounds. Interestingly, these wounds were about not being good enough. And that is why he found himself in such a struggle for survival, to become very successful, to stand on big stages, and to show what a doer he is. That was extremely exhausting. By the way, this extroverted life did not suit his being potentials at all. He actually had the opposite of extroversion as a being potential. He had introversion. And that was absolute poison for him. You said yes to work on this level like that. The same goes for the topic of competition, where we are currently discussing being potentials. He did not have the being potential of competition at all. Rather, he had the being potential of peace. Being in competition with everything and everyone was, for him. No wonder that he was so stressed, so unhappy, and that his career was declining. Interestingly, his family also suffered from his entire energy, of course. Yes, and the exciting thing is, once he understood these connections, he was naturally also ready to walk the path with me that I usually take with our clients, where we went deep and looked at where this comes from. Where is this pain still embedded in you and truly preventing your competence? Yes, and your needs. And yes, he had the courage to go in with me. And I had a phone call with him again on Thursday. So, to make a long story short, we resolved that and also addressed the topic of the business again, structuring everything in a way that aligns with his being potentials. And we talked on the phone on Thursday and he said, wow, he is going to feel so good. First of all, he is professionally successful again, and that is just really great for him. He now also has time for his family again, bringing beautiful energy for and with his family. And he can suddenly enjoy family life and success completely. He feels it deeply within himself, he says, and that is so beautiful. Nothing can shake him anymore. And that is exciting. Of course, it's also normal. So when you truly live what you are, and when you clear out the blockages that are still stuck inside you, something happens to you. You have a higher energy, and you communicate differently, or your energy communicates differently with the intelligent field of consciousness. And that will simply create completely different things, both within you and in your outer world. And these connections are just fundamental. Yes, when we bend ourselves, when we don't look within, when we believe that it will somehow work out, then we can't get it all to fit together. Yes, that is not coherent. And then our energy is disturbed or low vibrational, and we carry that outward. And I tell you, I know this very well from my own experience. It's no coincidence that I founded this method, because I was a prime example. Yes, because I worked in front of the camera for 17 years in television. Phew, that was extremely exhausting. And it's no wonder that I pushed myself to the limits of my strength, because the job just didn't suit me at all, even though I was an absolute quota queen for 11 out of the 17 years. So my entire being, my authentic and powerful vibration needs to work from home. That's just how it is. I need my retreat. I work best online and only selectively in very high vibrational in-person events. These are such important elements, my own being potentials. And I also cannot work under a boss. That's really interesting as well. I need to do my own thing, and it has to align 100% with my values. So, No other advisor from the outside can just come into my job and say, 2001, do it this way, do it that way. No, I have to create my very own style. Even if many things are done completely differently, I have to live my calling. That is incredibly important, no matter how challenging it may sometimes be. So when I say, I must, I tell you, it is all clearly stated in my being potentials. And that is extremely exciting. So, conducting an analysis of one's own being potentials and knowing them is immensely important, because then you can align yourself accordingly. Yes, and then I am always in my highest vibration. And since I have been in this vibration, everything is working. Healing our deepest wounds, working on our unconscious beliefs, and activating our potentials is one of the most powerful ways to raise our vibration. The more you let go of and transform your old blockages, the clearer and purer your energy will become. And you send that out, and the consciousness or plasma field around you will resonate with this new, higher frequency. Yes, and if you want to dive deeper into this topic, be sure to check out our next live show, where I will show you how to activate your being potentials and what may still need to be healed within you. And for all those who are really impatient and want to steer their reality in a grand direction immediately. For those who have the burning desire for us to shed light on your situation, examine your hidden blockages, and take a closer look at your potentials. It's best to book a free conversation with one of my Being Potential success coaches right away. Then we can see how we can best help you and which offer suits you best. So, you can find the link to it right here in the show notes for this podcast. Yes, so elevate your thoughts, your feelings, and see if you are truly in your power. So, whether it's about being potentials or not, you can feel within yourself whether you are blocked, whether something wants to come out, whether your desires are in alignment with your reality, and whether you are truly working towards achieving them, and so on. From this, you can already recognize a lot and make many adjustments. So in love, the very, very best for you. Your sister in spirit, your Linda.